Hiya, welcome to LSB Feasters radio channel where we keep great radio from the past alive, and today we are playing some audio from Tract, better known to many as the Greaseman. He really truly is a one-of-a-kind air personality. In this era when you have 3 and 4 and 5 people doing a morning show together, he did it all by himself. And boy, did he create some comedy gold. He got the name the Greaseman from back in his days when he was on the radio when he was in college. Back when everybody would say, I'm cooking, you know, like, I'm cooking with the Temptations or cooking with the Four Tops. Well, to show that he was cooking harder than anybody else, he would say, I'm cooking with heavy grease. And he said it so often, his fellow jocks started calling him the Greaseman. And it stuck. For many years, Dougie T was the name he used on the air, but then he created this persona, you know, kind of like an older, middle-aged guy, kind of big-bellied truck driver with a lot of swagger. And over the years, he started using listeners and used their phone calls to help launch him into bits and stories. Grease even created his own language, so nothing was taboo. He could talk about anything he wanted, and his listeners knew what he was talking about. Grease is probably best known for his days at DC 101, WWDC in Washington, where he ruled Washington radio in the 1980s and 1990s. Hey, if you like what you hear, feel free to give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe to the channel too if you like. All right, let's go back with the Greaseman on Washington's 98 WRC.
The spirit of 98.
WRC, Washington, the rock of the capital. WRC, with the big greasy one, looking after each and every one of your musical needs. And I'm gonna suit them to a T. At 6:34, great 98-day giveaway time aboard the Simon train. Old size on vacation, but come next week, he'll be back again.
When you wanna have a beer, don't fool around. Get the best name in the business. Oh, Milwaukee beer.
When you're out to have a beer, don't fool around. Get the beer named after the city that means beer. Old Milwaukee. It's the best name in the business, but a tough one to live up to. Old Milwaukee is the fastest growing major brand in the country because Old Milwaukee tastes as great as its name.
When you wanna have a beer, don't fool around. Get the best name in the business. Oh, Milwaukee beer. La la la.
Joseph Slidsmore and Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Living the life of Lee. Living the life of Lee means doing what you wanna do wherever you wanna do it. Lee will ease you through it. Hi. You know, when it comes to natural carefree living, Ms. Lee's ready for us girls. With Ms. Lee jeans, slacks, and tops. And when it comes to total comfort, Ms. Lee comes through with pure and natural cotton. Comfortable cotton that breathes, 'cause it's your life. Go ahead and live it. Live in the life of Lee. Live in the life of Lee.
Simon Train, 98 WRC.
Let's do some real plucking guitars. I say, let's do some real bad mama blues. The Greaseman with something brand new. Fella goes by the name of Joe Walsh, and he's named his ditty Rocky Mountain Way. WRC with the Greaseman looking after things in Simon Train's absence at 6:42, Great 98 Day Giveaway time.
Mark Lloyd, an employee of the 3M Company in Washington.
Volunteering in fire and rescue with the Bethesda Chevy Chase Rescue Squad in 1963. And I stayed with them for 5 years, and I now have 6 years with the volunteer fire department in Sterling Park, Virginia. After you spend this many years in it, you attain a certain technical level of training, and it's self-perpetuating. You begin teaching other people how to do things, and the involvement never stops. It's interesting. There's never the same thing, and like I said, the involvement with other groups and people, because the fire department, is what keeps it interesting. There is a lot of satisfaction in knowing that there's a job that needs to be done, and somebody has to do it.
Mark Lloyd, active in his community, urges you to become active in yours. Brought to you by the concerned group of people at the 3M Company.
This is Lee Case speaking for Washington Gas. In a recent speech, Washington Gas Light Company President Paul Reichert talked about the emerging national energy crisis and noted that it is not only a real problem, but a growing one. Reichert went on to discuss ways of solving or dealing with the problem. He said that his company has, for some time, been telling its customers how to use their gas appliances more efficiently to help conserve this vital fuel. As for the gas industry, Reichert mentioned the newer sources of gas it's now turning to, such as offshore drilling, Alaskan gas, synthetic gas, and the chemical conversion of coal to gas. While admitting there will be some energy supply problems in the next few years, Reichert expressed his continuing optimism, not only about the future of his company and the future gas supply for this area, but also for the future energy supply for the country. Lee Case for Washington Gas.
You got a problem? You need somebody to listen to your tale of whoa. Why not call the Northern Virginia hotline at 527-4077? WRC reminds you they answer their phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Washington weather.
Partially cloudy tonight. Thunderstorms tomorrow. Currently 89 degrees at WRC. Oh, I do believe I'm going to have another one. Greaseman making a musical glutton of himself. WRC with the hits. Let's try Gilly O'Sullivan. And get down. WRC with Mounds rock and roll. And over $30,000 worth of prizes in the Great 98 Day Giveaway. And the Greaseman's here to make sure you get your share. It's $6.50 on the Salmon Train.
This is Brooke Benton singing about my favorite beer, Miller High Life, and my favorite time of day, Miller time. When it's time to relax, Miller stands clear year after year. If you've got the time, we've got the beer, Miller beer. If you
Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Some 2,000 years ago, one of the more hip thinkers of the time, Archimedes, first described the waterbed principle.
A body actually gives up its weight when partially submerged in water.
Last week, Mervyn Morris, one of the more hip thinkers of 1973, described his waterbed principle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my, yeah. The famous 2-minute dry plunge waterbed test will tell you immediately what it's all about.
Miss Arlene Cinder recently described the basics of the dry plunge waterbed.
For real relaxation, comfort, and sleep, nothing is better than a dry plunge waterbed.
And the dry plunge waterbed is less expensive than the old-fashioned bed.
The dry plunge waterbed comes in many different styles, and it's guaranteed.
Come into Dry Plunge on 1914 Duke Street in Alexandria today and try the dry plunge waterbed. It's great, right, Mr. Morris?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Drop in today for dry plunges $1.99. Water pillows special, assorted sizes and shapes, great to take anywhere. That's Dry Plunge Waterbed near the Masonic Temple on Duke Street in Alexandria.
Get a lot for your money with Kenmore Appliances. I'm Doug Llewellyn, and now through Saturday, you can get a Kenmore washer-dryer pair for $227. A 2-temperature heavy-duty washer with pre-soak, normal, and 4-minute cycles. A 2-temperature electric dryer with heat and air-only settings. A Sears Kenmore washer-dryer duo, only $227. Quite a pair, and quite a savings at Sears.
WRC.
Joshua, I am calling on you, Joshua. Them walls need shaking. Bobby, oh! The progressive of a solid gold. That is very best. Sam and Dave with Soul Man. We shall now go from screaming, yelling, tear the house down soul music to slow and gentle, syrupy soul music. Oh, it's as smooth as silk. The Greaseman at WRC, savoring every sound that Johnny Taylor makes.
Honey, please, let me believe in you.
WRC, Washington, David Rush.
The air pollution alert is heading for a record 5th day. Readings rose to 125 today, far above the danger zone. But the Weather Service holds out some hope for us.
I think the situation will be better able to improve tomorrow. The high pressure system that we've had over the area all week is weakening, and the trough of low pressure that we've had out in the central part of the country is moving toward the east, and this should mean that we would get a little bit more of a breeze tomorrow, and there is a pretty good chance that there would be some sun shower activity tomorrow afternoon that would help clean the pollutants out of the air.
And the forecast tonight is for isolated thunderstorms. Former D.C. Council Chairman Gilbert Hahn charges the district's Environmental Service Department is nearly $800,000 behind in its collections from private trash haulers. Continental Baking Company is raising the price of bread 2 cents a loaf on Monday. Council of Governments Chairman Martha Panino welcomed the news that HUD is releasing $2.5 million for low and moderate income housing in the area, but she says that's not much more than a drop in the bucket when compared with the needs of the Washington region. The district government is putting up for sale 34 homes in the Brookland section. It's the first time the city has sold houses for rehabilitation purposes. The homes were declared surplus after the North Central Freeway route was altered. WRC time, 7 o'clock.
NBC News on the Hour. Police in Houston indicate a mass murder case there may rival the Juan Corona case in California, in which 25 men were killed. This is Bob Kane with news from Houston Police that other bodies are being sought, in addition to those of 11 boys and young men recovered so far. A police spokesman says the search has broadened to include other locations in the state, besides the boat shed in Houston in which the first 11 bodies were recovered.
Development since the discovery of the 11 boys changed to the point where the informant became more deeply involved and implicated himself and other people in other murders that may amount to as high as 25 victims before it's all over. We're in the process of following up on investigating at this time and going to other possible sites where other bodies may be buried in the state.
In the Juan Corona case, Corona was convicted of killing 25 migrant farm workers and burying their bodies in graves near Yuba City, California in 1971. That has been the biggest mass murder in American history. The search continues in central New Mexico for a child apparently lost in rugged mountain terrain in a truck with his dead or injured father. The little boy, described as about 7 years old, has been radioing appeals for help for nearly 2 days, and searchers have so far not been able to locate him. More news after this.
Give your code to Contact.
And that's not all. Give Contact your hay fever allergy, too. You heard right. Contact. #1 for cold, sure. But hear this. Contact's Tiny Time pills contain the hay fever allergy ingredient doctors prescribe most, up to 12 hours worth. You take Contact tonight. Get relief from sneezing, congestion, and wake up tomorrow with Contact still working. Now, give your allergy to Contact.
Headaches are one thing. A sinus headache is something else. Behind the eyes, under the cheekbones, so your whole face hurts. Well, now there's Sign-Off, the sinus medicine that works deep inside sinus cavities. Helps clear and drain congestion in minutes. Sign-Off tablets give you a full dose of pure aspirin plus a sinus drainer. A sinus drainer helps your pain while you drain. Remember, Sign-Off, SINEOFF, the sinus medicine in the bright red box.
The Justice Department has filed antitrust suits against Goodyear and Firestone tire companies, accusing them of trying to monopolize tire sales to consumers. Firestone and Goodyear are the nation's two largest tire makers, and the Justice Department says the consumer market accounts for about two-thirds of all tires made, a $2 billion a year business. California tax officials will take another look at the value of President Nixon's Western White House. The State Board of Equalization has decided to ask for a reappraisal of the value of Mr. Nixon's San Clemente home. The chairman of the tax board is William Bennett.
The property was originally assessed for $1,300,000. We know the purchase price was $1,500,000. Then they're dribbled out the extent of the improvements, which got up to $833,000, and a $200,000 golf course. And then just this week, the General Services Administrator announced additional improvements of, I think, $2 or $3 million. Well, now this is very suspicious. You just have to be able to add figures to know that something's wrong.
The president's homes in California and Florida have become a center of controversy, with disclosures of large amounts of federal money reportedly used to improve security at the estates. The Agriculture Department has released its first report on the outlook for crops based on an actual survey of the nation's farms. The report shows smaller than expected crops for corn, soybeans, and especially wheat. Irving R. Levine reports from Washington.
The wheat crop is now expected to be 400,000 bushels smaller than the Agriculture Department predicted last month, and almost 60% of that crop has already been sold to foreign countries. The reduced crop outlook means that unless the Nixon administration drastically cuts exports, there will be shortages and higher food prices. But the administration fears that cutting exports would hurt relations with Russia, Japan, and other countries that want to buy our foods, and would also worsen our foreign trade deficit. So the choice is between lower exports or higher food prices. Irving R. Levine, NBC News, at the Agriculture Department in Washington.
More news in a moment.
I'm here with magician Marvin the Marvelous, who's going to disappear before your very eyes. Think you can do it, Marvin?
Yes, it's working. It's working.
You mean your magical power?
No, my body oil. It's working.
Body All Underarm Deodorant is a different kind of powdery spray. It doesn't just work once and then quit. Every time you begin to perspire, Body All works again and again. So the more you need it, the more it works. He's vanished! Marvin, speak to us from the beyond!
It's working.
Body All. The more you need it, the more it works.
The Senate Watergate Committee has filed its federal court suit seeking White House tapes of Watergate-related conversations. Stocks closed nearly unchanged today. The hour's lead story, police in Houston say as many as 25 people may have been killed in a mass murder case in which 11 bodies have been recovered. Bob Kane, NBC News.
WRC.